real cases before a real judge.
Plaintiff Joshua Beck says he moved into the defendant's home after he started dating her daughter. Joshua claims the defendant was verbally and physically abusive, and he once witnessed her hit her daughter because she ran a red light. Joshua is suing for a rent refund and unreturned property. Defendant Michelle Smith admits that she hit her daughter on the shoulder with a lollipop because she ran a red light, but insists it wasn't vicious. Michelle says she kicked Joshua out after he cheated with a married woman, and she's countersuing for rent and damages.
Start with you.
I met Michelle Smith during the summer of 2011. I met her through Ashley Smith, her daughter. We met online and actually hit it off really well, so we wanted to be closer since it was a long-distance relationship. So back in October 2011, I moved in with Ashley and her mother.
How did that go, living with them?
It went all right until I finally realized that I was in trouble because I was actually literally scared of her.
Wow. Why?
Why? Because she's verbally and physically abusive.
Was she against you?
She was verbally. I seen her hit her daughter in the car when we were taking her and her boyfriend to the bar one time for running a red light.
Did she at least wait until the car pulled over or something?
No.
She hit her while the car was
while still
rolling?
driving.
What other acts of violence have you observed?
That's basically it, except for her verbal. She's always talking about cold knocking someone out, or always talking about fighting, and always getting drunk, so.
Ma'am?
Well, my daughter and him, they had a mutual friend that was in an accident, and the young man died. They started communicating in August, and my daughter went to the funeral. Josh was banned from the funeral.
Why?
I don't know what the deal was with the victim's mother and him. So they communicated through Facebook and texting. My daughter went and stayed with him and his family for about 5 days. Came home and she's like, it's not a really good situation. And she goes, can he move in with us? And I was like, I don't know.
Why did you react like that?
Well, you know, he's
What does that mean?
Well, he's 25, and
okay.
He's not working in his field that he's trained in. Is
he working at all?
No, the 6 months
okay.
he lived in my house, he worked less than 30 days. He was fired.
But you didn't know that at first?
No. But I just thought, you know, you're 25, you're not employed, and I said to him, you know, you can move in, but you've got to be employed and you have to pay rent, and rent is $600. And I said the first 2 months I'll cut you a deal until you get on your feet. October 26th, I actually drove and picked him up at my expense. 2011,
obviously.
yes.
No, she did not come pick me up. I took the bus, or actually moved in down there. She drove me up to go get my stuff. That's what happened.
All right. And you gave him October and November free?
October was free, November was $400, December was $400.
December was $400,
Correct.
and as was November.
Correct.
And he paid you for those two?
Correct.
Okay. And we're getting to your counterclaim for rent,
Yeah.
but first I have to get to his because he's the plaintiff.
The defendant, Michelle Smith, is being sued by her daughter's ex-boyfriend, who claims he witnessed Michelle physically abuse her daughter.
He said you were violent.
No,
and you came down on people. You talked about people like a dog.
No. Yes, my daughter did run the red light, and I hit her with
She risked your life by running a light, but then you risk your life even more by hitting her while she's
I understand that.
driving.
I hit her in the shoulder with a lollipop.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
The car was
That's
stopped.
a little different.
The
Is
light
that what
red.
it was, sir?
That I remember?
Yeah.
Probably not, because the lollipop was staying in the back of the car the whole night.
What?
The lollipop stayed in the back of the car the whole night because they were plastered. We were always the designated drivers, or her daughter
inaccurate.
was.
That's extremely inaccurate.
They always made her daughter and I either try to be designated drivers. I never wanted to drive them to the bar or from the bar at all.
You say she drank a little more than she should?
Oh, there'll
typically?
be times they'll be coming home.
Abuse alcohol?
I say so.
Okay.
Because there'll be times they'll be acting like little kids when they're coming home, stumbling drunk or doing stuff. It's like we go to the bar to go pick them up. They always take a taxi cab every time we try to go get them.
All right. You want to respond or
I
not?
do, because
Okay.
I'm not a heavy drinker, and I
Well,
would
you
say...
seem like you might take a nip or two every now and then. Now, don't play crazy. Don't do me.
I know that I had a special invitation one time to go out, and he was to be the DD, and he was drunk before we left, and he thought we should all take turns.
We're talking about you.
No, I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't like drinking. I'm diabetic. I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't drink that often.
All right, well, I'm just letting you clear it up. Let's get to the refund you're suing about, sir. The rent refund and the property.
Yes, sir. Well, back in April 1st, me and her daughter got in an argument, and I called her name, and that's when Michelle freaked out, and she told me I had 2 hours to get my stuff out. So basically, I took them 2 hours, packed up whatever I can, put it into my car, and try to leave. I asked her, you know, I'll come back and get my stuff. She's like, fine. We'll be here. I've got a hold of her daughter back in towards the end of April, just to see if I could come get my stuff, because once again, I was threatened by her boyfriend because he wanted to abuse me. But a week before then, I paid her rent, and I asked her for my rent money back because
For what month?
For April, because I paid a week in advance.
You paid $400?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And she knew that and everything else. When I went to go get my stuff back, my video games were missing.
You have a list of the items that were missing?
Yes, I have a list of all the items.
And who did you speak to regarding your items?
Her daughter.
So what does she have to do with it? The defendant.
Her daughter told me that they have none of my stuff. I was worried about my toolbox because that's my moneymaker right there. I cannot hold that toolbox in my shop right now because I can't lock up all my tools. All I found is that toolbox broken, nothing of mine was at the house, all the video games were sold or something. I have none of my stuff, just my clothes. I think they sold them or something because they're...
Ma'am, what do you want to tell me first about the rent refund, evicting him? Sounds like he's alleging you illegally evicted him and would not give him his money back even after he had paid in advance for that month.
I did refund his money.
Pardon?
There was a fight. He had been cheating on my daughter, and it had been going on since her birthday, December 27th.
Describe the fight.
They were arguing, and he called her, and I came out of my room, and I was like, what's going on? And my daughter said that he'd been in contact with his ex-girlfriend, who is married, and they've been communicating for about 3 months, and he said he was torn. He didn't know.
And you feel you have a right to evict without notice your daughter's mate who lives there and pays rent. You felt you had a right to evict him without notice because they had a couple's argument and he called his mate a name.
Well, I feel like, number one, we didn't have a lease. Number two, he wasn't paying his rent as it was assigned.
Defendant Michelle Smith is being sued by her daughter's ex-boyfriend, who claims he witnessed Michelle physically abuse her daughter.
He didn't pay April?
Yes, he did. But
you
rent
just
was
said he didn't pay his rent.
His rent is $600, not $400.
All right, well, did he pay April or not? I just asked you, did he pay April? Did he or not?
$400 of it.
Did he?
Part of it.
All right, 400 of it. And before that, did he pay?
It was never the right amount.
Okay, so he was paying some rent, though.
Some rent.
All right, why didn't you evict him for non-payment then?
That was part of it. It all just built up.
Oh, so you evicted him for non-payment, too?
For an assortment of things. He was not working.
Okay, name the things.
Okay, his day consisted of smoking a pack of cigarettes.
So that's part of it, smoking cigarettes? That's one of the reasons you
He's smoking
evicted
pot, unemployed.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to work for him to sit at my house.
Ma'am, I'm trying to tell you, you illegally evicted him. He gets this judgment, perhaps treble damages, which is what you receive for illegal eviction. You get 3 times the amount you're asking for, and then you lose altogether.
We didn't have a
so that's
lease.
Why I was getting, yes,
What
you
is-
did.
what is
You had a
my-
month to month, and he paid that month.
He did
You
not.
didn't-
I
you didn't
gave him
evict
back his
All right.
money, and he did not pay the correct rent
Ma'am, you
ever.
can't kick people out unless
How
you
am I
get
supposed
a
to let him
judge's
live
order.
in my
You go and get a
house?
judge's order. We're not going to debate this. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed. Have a good day.
You lied.
No.
So
I
enjoy.
didn't.
This will be with you forever.
Actually, I have something to say.
I have text
this
messages
woman
showing him.
is abusive. She lies, and she
Where's
does
your
everything.
proof, Judy?
And I pay my son rent money to pay his rent down there, and she doesn't know that. A lot of time I help him out.
It was unemployment that he's fraudulently
You know what?
collecting.
You're lying. You're lying.
No, I'm not. And the text
And-
messages show it.